upcoming new album, Ordinary Man, is set for release coming up on the 21st. Now, the day before that, on Thursday the 20th, locations in over 50 cities around the world will host listening parties held in tattoo shops. Fans will be able to hear the LP as well as be able to get exclusive Ozzy-inspired tattoos. Ozzy will also be doing an in-store. He'll be at Amoeba Records on the day of the release, the 21st in L.A., signing copies of the album. According to the press release I have here, no photos with Ozzy will be permitted.
Okay, well, be interesting to see how Ozzy holds up with all the grind of, coming promotion for a new record, and we're still waiting to see if these tour dates that have already been postponed once actually do indeed happen, and we'll see if, how all that plays out. Most importantly, nothing but the best of health. That's what matters most. We'll see. All right, we got to hit our
apparel, ranging from, get out your credit card, an $88 t-shirt to a Crimson Ghost logo leather biker jacket that retails for $998.
Let me tell you something. In John Varvatos' land of clothing,
that's affordable.
A jacket for $1,000 is a bargain of the lifetime.
That is true.
Because, and I know John, and I like John, and John has been on this show, and he is brilliant at what he does, and obviously extremely successful at what he does, and good on him, because he's a huge music fan, and in the fashion world, he's made a huge mark, and it's great. I love his stuff. I love his stuff.
He's also a big philanthropist, too.
Yes, I just can't afford his stuff. And because it is next level expensive. I'll tell you a quick story. Two times. Once John told me I was in Vegas and I needed something to wear because something came up last minute, and he had a store in the Hard Rock, which is now closed in Vegas, by the way. It's going to reopen as a Virgin hotel, but they just closed it over the weekend. But he said, I remember him telling me, go in the store and just, tell him to call me or whatever, and I'll get you, give you half price or something. I was like, wow, it's very kind of you. And I went in the store and the price is like $8,000-$9,000 or something for a jacket, or $4,000. I'm like, even half price is $2,000. I just can't do that. And then more recently, when I was in LA just a week or two ago, and the whole Music Cares thing was dropped on me, and I was not prepared at all for that. And I was hearing all these rumors of that thing being black tie and all this. And I'm like, whoa, man, I am not the guy for that. What the hell do I do? So my friend Brent's like, you got to go to the Varvatos store over on Melrose. And I know a girl works over there. She goes, go over. There's a sale rack. I just hit the clearance rack. You get some deals. Went over there. It's like, oh, this jacket looks kind of nice. It was like $5,500 or something. It's like even half the price, even 40-50% off. It's like $2,000-$3,000. I got in the car, drove over to Macy's, found a beautiful leather jacket for $79.99. Looked great. You saw me on that red carpet at Music Cares. Look at me, the paparazzi were going crazy. Come on.
You looked dapper, Eddie.
Had a little Levi's tag on it. I was good to go. I'm a simple man. I can't justify it. I mean, it's just, but hey, there are plenty of people who do, and there are plenty of people that can, and God bless them. And John does amazing stuff. Not saying for a minute his stuff isn't worth it. It's too rich for my blood, but he is the rock and roll clothier.
I will say, because, in trying to be a pretender to the throne, I own 2 Varvatos shirts. Mind you, they're from the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of his collections. I think one's a knockoff even, but
here's what's crazy about that. And John would know a lot more about this because, of course, it's his company. And he was on here recently because we had him on talking about this great punk documentary, doc on punk rock that was on the Epix channel. But here's the thing about that along those lines. So I went over to the Beverly Center looking for, something that wasn't under $1,000. And there was a couple stores over there. There was like I don't know, it was like a Neiman Marcus or something, or even like a Men's Warehouse or something along those lines that were selling Varvatos stuff at drastically cheaper prices. So I think he may have like a secondary line or something of like, what he considers to be bargain or economy. I don't know. But some of the other stores are now carrying his stuff at a much more reasonable price point. So I don't know how that works. And the kicker to all of it is, as I knew was going to be the case, showed up to Music Cares, and you had people there dressed every which way.
Have split up after 53 years together in the alleged coldest way possible. According to the story, drummer Don Powell shared the news on his website Monday, stating that guitarist Dave Hill fired him via email. Hill was the only original member of the band and had been friends with Powell since the 1960s. Hill, however, claims this is not accurate, with Powell now set to tour as his own version of Slade. The band has been pretty much in a state of flux since the early 90s, when original lead singer Noddy Holder departed, probably the best-known guy from Slade.
Another one of these multiple versions of the band coming under different names or the same name. It's just, man, you hate to see that keep happening. Slade is a band that is, as Ed mentioned, in England, very loved, very revered, very influential. Here in America, not so much. I mean, people who know Slade here in the U.S. know it from Quiet Riot covering some of their songs. The same with Status Quo. Same deal with them. Hugely popular in England. Here, nothing. Status Quo doesn't even have anything, really popular that other people covered for the most part. So, yeah, that's interesting how that happens, but that'll be big news in England, I'm sure.
And one final thing today. So with the cruise broadcasts next week, we may not have the proper time to address this. 1 week from today, on the 13th, it's going to be the 50th anniversary of the release, in the UK that is, of the first Black Sabbath album. Now, I know over on the Liquid Metal channel, Ian Christie has been posturing it this way. If one assumes that Black Sabbath were the first true heavy metal band, then it's safe to assume that February 13th, the 50th anniversary of the first Sabbath record, is the 50th birthday of metal itself.
I would agree with that. And I mentioned this on a previous show a week or two ago. In England, there's going to be this listening party where they're going to play the first Sabbath album in its entirety on like the most state-of-the-art sound system they could get together over there, and put people in like a dark room and crank it. And there's a whole ticketed thing going on to celebrate that, but it should be celebrated. I'm a firm believer that metal started with Sabbath and that first record, and it's 50 years since, so why not?
I'm telling you, Eddie, that is the perfect way to mess with people during that in the dark Black Sabbath listening party. You just tap people on the shoulder in the dark and just whisper Satan while they're listening.
Put some backward masking in there.
Right?
You good, Ed? You good?
Yeah, I'm done.
You're more than good. He just ripped up his news like Pelosi ripped up Trump's speech.
Save it for posterity's sake. All right.
Oh, boy. We got to take a break.